Hi, welcome to my new video post. It's regarding guardianship, and I know I posted before about being for guardianship, but now that I've endured a saga, my views are very different than they were. And if it can happen to me, it could happen to any of you. But when you apply to be guardian of your loved one, even if it's a parental guardianship, you ultimately are giving up your parental rights, and the court is now the main overseer of everything involving your child, and that you're just given a quote role to provide to the court, that you're doing your duties and providing them with the information regarding the ward. So in my case, I was removed, and it's because the court found that I was not an appropriate guardian. I'm going to read to you why they thought that, and I feel strongly against the removal of myself. I had witnesses at my hearing that spoke highly of me. I was always a good mom to my four, and if I could be removed, any of you can be removed, and it's that simple. It could happen at any time, and for apparently any reason. So here are the reasons why they removed me, and I'll go step by step with you on this. The first one is that I asked the magistrate to recuse herself from the proceeding. The counsel, my counsel, represented that the magistrate who was listening to the removal hearing, her husband was the arresting officer of my criminal proceeding, and the magistrate finds that her disqualification is not required, and basically that she was unhappy that I even asked her to recuse herself, although her husband was the arresting officer. So now we're going to go into my criminal offense. I was found guilty of criminal trespassing, and even though it wasn't relevant to any of the wards, it didn't involve any of the wards, I was found guilty for dropping baby clothes off at my oldest daughter's house. She issued a no trespass warning. I think it was almost a year prior to that, and then I was moving, and in my move I decided to drop off baby clothes at her house. I didn't knock, I didn't yell her name, I didn't do anything like that. I just dropped the clothes off, and that was all I did. And so I got arrested for that and found guilty for doing that. So that was the second reason why they removed me as guardian. The third reason was that I moved to Tennessee without notifying the court of my new address. And what is interesting about this is, prior to this hearing, I had in the docket that I wanted my new address and phone number sealed, and I requested a hearing for that before I moved, and this hearing for removal of guardianship preceded my original docket of keeping my information private, which I don't want to get into in this video. There's a good reason why I asked for it to be private. It was only privacy of myself, not the wards, and didn't matter. It's the fact that I moved, and didn't matter if the hearing was heard or not. She didn't like the fact that I moved, and she just didn't care about the fact that I had a motion of reason why I wanted it secret. She didn't care about that. So she then listed as the fourth reason, family discord. She feels that there's an alarming amount of familiar discord in the Ward's family. The divorce between the guardian and the father of the Wards has not been friendly. There has been many accusations between the guardian and the father of the Wards, and their disputes appear to be ongoing. And neither adult children are on speaking terms with the guardian, and these adult children have disintegrated to criminal charges in prosecution and estrangement. And I honestly do not know why that is relevant to me being the guardian. Yes, it was a contentious divorce. I mentioned in the hearing what has happened to me. I was a victim of domestic abuse. It was my daughter that decided to arrest me for doing something I didn't know was a bad thing to do, dropping off clothes at her residence. But these things are the key issues of why she removed me as guardian. And then I think the last one here, I believe it's the last one, she wrote evidence of poor judgment. That Christina was previously bonded to the daughter, the adult daughter of the guardian. And she expressed to her mom that she missed her sister. And she made up her own little story saying, despite being told the daughter that she was not welcome, the guardian took Christina out of her program to visit the daughter. And I don't understand why that is, I don't even understand why that was misjudgment, because this was before the criminal trespassing order was issued, and I was only doing what probably any mom would do, that if your developmentally challenged daughter misses their sister, I attempted to try to see if the sister would see her sister, but the magistrate obviously finds that that was bad judgment. And so therefore she recommended that my guardianship be terminated. That is what happened to me. So then, after that happened, I virtually became bankrupt by hiring an attorney and telling him that this wasn't fair and I wanted to be guardian again. And for a whole year, I kept trying to let him know all the terrible things that were happening. There were so many. I wasn't allowed to see my kids, was a big one. Then another one was the people that I hired to take care of my kids were fired. The guardian removed my kids' friends. She removed the house that they were living in and put them into a smaller house. She didn't let me know any medical problems that were happening with my kid. No one even came to me ever at any point in time for the whole year, ever asked me about their medical history. So in turn, my kids endured taking medication that failed before, and they're trying it again. And the guardian also hired this residential placement that I fired initially because they were doing such a bad job at taking care of my kids. Well, she rehired them. So my kids were very confused why these bad people were back at taking care of them. My youngest daughter, she was in the ER 13 times in 1 year, 4 hospitalizations. I was told about one split head accident where she needed staples, but apparently she had another time where she had her head split open that I didn't know about. It's just been one thing after another, and even the residential placement people that I fired, that she hired, they also threatened the guardian that if mom or dad comes to visit the kids, that they are going to terminate their contract of residential services. And at the time, the guardian didn't know what to do other than to just terminate mom and dad because she didn't want to be without a provider for the 4 kids. And so it took me a long time to try to come to Ohio, personally try to meet with this guardian, show her that I have no bad intentions, I have no ill will, I have no anger problems. I am just a mom who loves my kids. I want to see them and love them and talk to them, enjoy them. And in October, she sat with my attorney and she said that, oh, now I'll give you unlimited visitation. It'll all be done through me, and we can go do co-guardianship together, and, things will be great for both of us. Well, then in November, my youngest daughter, had to go to the ER. She was very, very sick. She had to be admitted to the ICU. She had aspirational pneumonia. She was extremely sick, seizures as well. And I was just alarmed at her health. And I made the trip twice. The first time when she was first admitted to the ICU, it hurt me so bad to leave her after a couple days. And I scheduled to come back up on the end of November because there was a hearing set for what was supposed to be removal of the guardian, but when we met together in October, the guardian, my attorney, and I decided we would remove that and add to seek co-guardianship. And I sat there in the room while they discussed everything about the co-guardianship and whatnot. So I text my attorney, what do I need to do for tomorrow's hearing? And my attorney's like, oh, there is no hearing. Don't show up. You don't have to come. Tell everybody else they don't have to come. And I look at the docket while I'm in the hospital, and he only then dismissed the removal of guardian. And then the magistrate had a nasty opinion of me and doesn't even know anything that's happened. She doesn't know truth from fiction, and And then the very next day, the guardian resigns out of the blue. I didn't even know this was going to happen. She resigned. And so to this, now on this day, which is, the middle of December, and that was December 1st and December 2nd, now the magistrate appointed an ASPE guardian for each kid. And so trying to reach anyone to see if I could get any visitation for Christmas is extremely hard to do. I don't know if I'll hear from them. And I don't know what to do. I'm just, honestly, I've been crying a lot. I'm really, really depressed. I never thought something like this would happen. Everybody told me, oh yeah, it's the right thing to do. You need to get guardianship, to get this done, that done. No one told me that you're putting yourself at risk if you make anyone unhappy for any reason whatsoever. And apparently I made, and I still to this day don't know who filed to remove me. But because I moved and I did have something in the docket saying why I wanted it sealed and blaming me for discord and the criminal trespassing, which was in itself ridiculous. Like, I never did anything that jeopardizes my kids. In fact, I was the best guardian, best mom to my kids. And I know even my ex would testify to that I was never bad to my kids, ever. I was only the best to my kids. And this magistrate thinks she is the rule. She doesn't have to follow the rules. She is the rule, and she just does not like me. She does not care to hear what the truth is. Doesn't even care about the findings of any fact. She is just going by like, oh, she dismissed this removal of guardian because she probably doesn't have anything to substantiate it, and she's probably just a loser mom and whatever. I don't know what her thinking was, but it's so far from the truth. And I feel like I need to share my story because I never thought this would happen. I never ever thought this would happen. I'm just heartbroken when I think about any kind of memory of my kids. And I don't even know how much they're suffering. There's no way for an angel to communicate, where's my mom? And they aren't respected either, by the way, unless you know for sure, who's taking care of your kids. You don't know if they're getting respected at all. And I felt like they were getting disrespected by that provider, and that's why I fired them. And here we are where that provider threatens to walk out if mom and dad are in the picture, and they are just not very nice. And I try not to even think about it because it's unbearable to think that my kids are getting emotionally and psychologically abused. I know it's happening. I just can't think about it because I can't do anything. I've tried everything. I've tried hiring an attorney, and absolutely nothing has happened with that. And I honestly don't even know what else I could do. I just don't know. So I wanted to post this video and just give fair warning.